So in this video, I'm going to be covering how to calculate Pearson's correlation coefficient and the least squares regression line when we're given a bivariate data set. Luckily for us, in the HSC, we don't actually need to know how to calculate these by hand, which is like pretty long and arduous. We just need to figure out how to use our calculator to calculate these. So that's what we're going to do. So in the question, we have the heights and ages of a group of students, and part A wants us to find the correlation coefficient, and part B wants us to find the least squares regression line. So the first thing I'm going to do is press the mode button up here. It's next to the on button. I'm going to press number 2 for statistics mode. And then now we're given a whole bunch of equations. What I'm going to use is number 2 for a plus bx, because if we remember, correlation and the least squares regression line have to do with linear relationships. So I'm going to press that. And now I'm going to input my x data. So in this case, I'm going to use age. So 10, 11, 12, 12, 15, 16. So I'm done putting in all of my x values. Now I'm going to put in the corresponding y values. 140, 152, 143, 148, 155, 167. Now, when I want to find the correlation coefficient, I'm going to go Shift 1 to get my statistics options. I press number 5 for regression. And then now, if you remember, Pearson's correlation coefficient is usually denoted by R, which we have right here as option number 3. So I'm going to press 3 for R, equal sign, and voila, I've got my correlation coefficient. So part A, R is equal to 0.865, 3 decimal places. So this is pretty high, which means that I've got a strong positive linear relationship. Now part B, find the least squares regression line. So luckily for us, we don't have to go through and type in all of our data again, since we already typed it in before, the calculator is saved in the background. So what I'm going to do is Shift 1 again and go back to regression. And now the options I'm interested in this time are number 1 and number 2 for A and B, which are the coefficients that I'm going to use for my equation. So I'm going to choose number 1 first, equal sign. Okay, so A is equal to 105.57, 2 decimal places. Now I'm going to get my B, Shift 1, 5 for regression, 2 for B, equal sign. B is equal to 3.57, 2 decimal places. Okay, so one thing that we want to make sure of though is that the form of the equation used by the calculator is a little bit different from what we're used to. We're normally used to y equals ax plus b, but in this case, the way they've got it set up, if I go back to mode statistics, they've actually got a plus bx. So it's going to be in the form y is equal to a plus bx, which we can deal with just fine. Y is equal to a plus bx, which means y is equal to 105.57 plus 3.57x. And that is our least squares regression line.